Today we will start with sort components. Here we have a sort component, sort within groups, and checkpoint sorted. Coming to the sort component, it takes input records and returns the output in the sorted order based on the key parameter. So the parameters will be key and max score. So do you remember so far where we discussed the parameter max score?
That is in joins where we can give inputs must be sorted or something. Wherever you have given inputs must be sorted, there will go for max score.
Join component is correct, but input must be sorted or in memory.
Max score.
So all this max score, whenever we set in memory option, then we will get max score parameter. So it says that the operation to be performed on the RAM. So based on the name sort component, we can say like whatever the data it comes, whether it's sorted or unsorted, after using the sort component, based on the key parameter, whatever the fields we are providing here, it will be sorted from the output port. But how does internally it performs? So that is what mainly concern. So whatever the amount of the memory we specify in the max score parameter, by default it's an 100 MB. So let's say if we have an 100 MB, specify the amount of the memory in the max score parameter, and I specify the key field as a department number. Okay, the input data is unsorted data, and from the input file I am getting 1 lakh records. So how the sort will be performed? The first step, it will be like read the data from the input file, input port, but how much data it has to read? It will be reading the amount we specified in the max score parameter. So out of this 1 lakh, let's take it. This 1 lakh records, the size will be 1000 MB. So out of this 1000 MB, the first 100 MB will be read and loaded the data into the RAM. Let's say the data loaded is for the first MB is 10, 30, 30, 20, 10, 10 and 30. So if the data is loaded for this in the RAM, then on this data the sort will happen. So once the sort is happened, the sorted data will be become like this in the RAM itself. And once the data has been sorted, So once the data has been sorted, the sorted temporary file will be loaded into the disk. This is the first sorted file and the RAM becomes empty. Then after, once this sorted file has been written onto the disk with the temporary file, then another 100 MB will be written into the RAM. Let's check it. Now we have the data like 30, 40, 20, 20, 10, 20. So once another 100 MB has been loaded into the RAM, again the sort begins within the 100 MB. So the 10 becomes first. So again the data will be sorted into the RAM by the next 100 MB. So far 200 MB data has been completed. So like this 10 times whole the 100 MB will be read and written the 10 sorted files. So now we have seen 2 sorted files. Like this 10 sorted files will be written. So this is the first file sorted file and this is the second sorted file. So like this 10 files will be written into the disk. Once all the files has been sorted and written to the disk, then the final sort will be happening each. So now if you see this, each of the individual files has assorted data, but combinationally it's not assorted. So 10, all the 10s from all these files will be read, and then 20s, then totally 3 plus 2, 5 30s, then 140 will be read. So this is how internally the sort operation will be performed. So we know like what are the key parameter and the max core value we specify. The sort component will sort the data according to the key and produces the output. But internally, whatever the amount of the memory we specify, that amount of the memory will be allocated in the RAM, and correspondingly the data will be read from the input file each time and does the sorting in the RAM and creates a temporary file, the temporary sorted file in the disk. So once all the data has been completed by reading and loading into the RAM and sorting, then creating the temporary sorted files, then internally this operation will be performed. So all these operations are sorting operations, and this operation is a merging operation. So internally the sort component will do sort as well as merge. So finally it produces a sorted file. So are we clear on this?
Yes, Venkat.
Yeah, Venkat.
Okay. So we have a next component called sort within groups. And here the parameters we have are measure key, minor key, max score, and allow unsorted. So by the name we can say like sort should happen within the groups. So already the sort has been happened on one of the key, and now we are expecting the sort to happen on another key. So that is the reason sort within groups. Let's say like I have done the sorting on department number already. So using the sort component, we have done the sort on the department number somewhere in the flow beginning of our graph. Now it's a requirement to sort the data within the department numbers and their job wise. So we have a fields like employee number, employee name, job, manager number, salary, and department number. So far the sort has been happened on the department number, and once the sorted file we are getting on the flow, now it's requirement for us to sort the data on the manager number. Yes, I can use a sort component again specifying like the key fields as of now we specified on the starting of the flow department number. We can specify department number from a job field as well. So what will happen if I just use a sort component? Let's say my graph is defined with multiple set of components. All the components are connected over the flows. Then we have created a file. So let's say here we have done the sorting, and here we have a requirement somewhere to sort the data on job field as well. So why can't I use a sort component here? Because the main objective is we want the sort to be happen on job as department number within the department number job field. So can anyone tell me why we should not use a sort component here? Let's say I have written a sort here, and here which component to be used? Why not sort? Why it has to go for sort within groups? Now I have a requirement over the flow. It is an unsorted data. On the department number field, I have used a sort component and made the data sorted on the department number over the flow to the next set of the components. Now it's time for the requirement to be sorted the data on the department number as well as the job field. So what will happen is if I use a sort component here, again the whole operation whatever we have done so far, reading the 100 MB files and loading into the RAM, then sorting, then again creating a temporary file of the sorted data, then again we are merging the operation. So all this operation whatever we have done so far for the department number field, again it will happen here. But we are pretty much sure that already the data coming over the flow is sorted on the department number, and why do we have to sort again? So in such a case, instead of using the sort component and reducing the performance, use sort within groups. Specify the measure key as a department number. The component will understand that The data is already sorted on the department number and we are expecting the sort to happen on the job field, that is the minor key. 1 second. Okay, so whatever the field we specify on the measure key, that we are specifying to the component saying that the data is already sorted on this field and we want the sort to happen only on the job field within the department numbers fields. So then whatever the max score, the value we have, those many bytes, every time it will be reading, and within the each department number the job fields will get sorted. So now the sort will happen only on the job field, nowhere it will touch to the department number. So, and that is the reason it is checking whether the data to be allowed is unsorted or not. So this parameter always talks about the measure key, and the default value of the unsorted allow unsorted data is false. So we are saying that the data on the department number is sorted, then why we have to allow unsorted data on the department number field or the measure key field? So the default value should be false, and we will see practically by making allow unsorted data as a true what will happen. So is it clear?
Yeah, Venkat. And what's the max core default value for this 100 MB?
Yeah, for here it's less actually. That is a default is 10 MB.
Okay.
And the next component we have is checkpoint sorted. So there is no difference between the sort and the checkpoint sort, right? Much difference. The only difference is in this also the parameters will be, but the component looks like uh, looks very different here. And practically I will show you. And coming to the parameter, again we have same parameters like key and max score. And here the max score, the default value is again 100 MB. So what will happen? What is the difference between the sort and the checkpoint sorted? So the only difference is once you create the temporary files of the sorted data, here we are performing a sort operation, that is a merge operation. So far we have performed the sort operation on each of the temporary files created on the RAM, and then we are once all the files are sorted and loaded into the disk, the temporary sorted files, then we are performing the merge operation and creating a one sorted file. So what if it happen like so far we perform, let's say like the sort happened so for till here the 20th value we performed it. So all the 10s from all the files has been read, and the 20th value from the first file it has read, and before sorting reading the 20th department from the next sorted file, let's say the graph has failed due to some reason, whether it's a connectivity error or whatever it may be. So the graph has failed. So what will happen to perform this sort? Let's say we are taking 3 minutes of time. So again, whenever you restart the job again, what will happen? If we are using a sort component, if we are using a sort component, whatever the time we have invested so far for sorting the data, that is 3 minutes, again we have to invest the same, because it will not start from this merge operation. The sort component, again it has to read the data whole from the file and load it into the RAM and create a temporary sorted files in the disk, and then a merge operation has to be performed. But if we are using a checkpoint sorted, the advantage we have here is once all the temporary sorted files has been created on the disk, then a checkpoint will be created saying that all the sorting has been completed, only the operation merge is pending. Then the merge operation will be performed. So now if the graph has failed after reading till here, that the graph has failed, if we rerun the graph, it will not be again creating all these files, because all these files are there here in the checkpoint it has created. So it will perform only the merge operation, not the sort operation. So that is the advantage we have it. But if the graph has been failed before creating this temporary files itself, let's say in this case we have to create 10 temporary files out of the memory and the max core limit we have it. Let's say 9 files have been prepared already, and while preparing the 10th file the graph has failed. So there is a no difference between the sort and the checkpoint sort. In this case it has to start, both the cases it has to start from the beginning. So only the difference is once the sort has been completed all the temporary files in the disk, and before starting a merge operation a checkpoint will be created. So once the checkpoint is created, then only the difference between the sort and checkpoint sorted will be coming. But internally the operation both are same. So is it clear for the checkpoint sort?
Yeah, Venkat.
Okay.
Yep.
You lovely? Okay. Okay, let's see the input file. And the key we were using is department number. So now the data is sorted. So, but internally what will happen is every time it reads the bytes specified in the max core and does the sorting, and then a merge operation will be performed. Sort within groups. Okay, on department number, the data is already in sorted order. Now the 10s, 20s, and 30 and 50. But we are expecting the sort to happen on the salary field on each of the department. So now it is unsorted on each of the department. The salary field is unsorted. And here we make it as allow unsorted as a false. And the other input form, and the department number, again it's unsorted. It's what is the major key and minor key. Same values. The major key is a department number and the salary field is a minor key. So, but the allow unsorted parameter, we made it true means on the department number field, the values of the records coming from the input flow is in unsorted data. We are saying that yes, but the condition also satisfies. We are sending unsorted data on the department number field. So here on each of the department, on the salary fields, the records are sorted. 25K, 55, 65 and 85K. And on the 20th department, again the data is sorted. 30th department and 50th department, only one record. But let's see here the interesting case, what has happened. The groups will be treated different. Wherever there is, it finds on the department number unsorted data. So far only two records, 10th department with 65K and 85K. So 65 has been came and 85, then 85. These two records will be treated as one group, and then 20th department only one record is there. So one record. Then on the 10th group, again these two records will be treated as one more group. But that is not the case what we are looking at. All tends to be treated as one group. So in this case, no use of using a sort within groups. when we are getting unsorted data on the major key. It's no use of using this. The data which is there in the department number and the salary field is not unsorted or not sorted according to the keys. So if we are getting an unsorted data from the input file and don't make it allow unsorted as true, let's put it the default value only. So whenever there is a chance of getting unsorted data, the graph will fail. So it will say that the record 4 is out of order with respect to the previous group of the records. So let the graph fail, but don't make it allow unsorted as a true. Just for testing purpose, I made it to the true. But if you are making it to the true, the graph will run, but you will get incorrect results. So always you have to go for allow unsorted as a true. The reason we are going for sort within groups is we are sure that already the data coming on the major key parameter is sorted data. Then why we have to go for unsorted as a true? If there is a chance of getting unsorted data, then the graph should fail. So it is a point where we have to debug it. Why we are getting unsorted data? So is it clear?
Yes, Venkat.
You Ravali, is it clear?
Yes, Venkat.
Okay. Coming to the checkpoint sorted. So for whenever you see any of the component, it looks like a single component. Whether it's a sort within groups. But here, if I double click it, it will open another window with two more components internally, the partial sort and the merge runs. So whatever we discussed, the sort will happen first and then a merge will happen. Of course, this will happen internally, but how can I look for the properties here? Because whenever on the any of the component, if we double click it, we can able to see the properties. But here we have to do a right click on that and go to the properties and then parameters. So now we are expecting the sort to happen on the department number field and the max score value is specified. The department number unsorted data. Now the data is in sorted order on this field. But internally there is a difference which gives the performance when we are using a checkpoint sorted. Is it clear? The difference between the sort and sort within groups and checkpoint sorted.
Yeah.
Okay, you, Bhagirash, all the three are clear?
Venkat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's already like 7:45. So I wanted enough time to discuss the next set of the components, which cannot be done in this span of the minutes. So can you close the session for today, and tomorrow we will start with a new topic?
Okay.
You, Bhagirash, is fine?
Okay, Venkat.
Or any doubts you have it
Yeah,
to
yeah.
clarify?
Yes. No, Venkat, nothing else.
Okay, fine. Then we'll close the session for today, and tomorrow we'll start with a new concept.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.